Alright, this is a basic overview of the underwater rock climb for November 8th over at Pace's Mills on the Chattahoochee River. Go into an overview of the actual area that was underwater rock climbed. And as the map zooms in here, this is basically the overview here from Pace's Mill to the I-75 bridge. Here's the circular driveway of Pace's Mills, boat ramp. Boat ramp's right around here, and then here's the stretch of water, which was we're talking about here. That goes up to the base here, just below the I-75 bridge, and then comes back here. That's the general route. The general route basically will go up, turn around, and come back. So let's take a closer look here. First thing, obviously, is the gear prep for the day. It starts back at the house and load up, and hopefully you got everything. Dismount the car. Here on Pace's Mill, one of the things you can do is actually go to the water with what you're actually going to be taking into the water with you, unlike some of the other climbs that will require an extra bike ride where you got to bike up the bike, you lock up the bike, and then go from there for a hike, like over Devil's Racecourse Shoals or whatnot. So anyway, for here, as you can see, I've come into a little closer view here. Here's will be the launch area. That's the first thing we'll be focused on here. That starts off the entire underwater rock climb here at Pace's Mills. Typically, I will park the car, head out to this launch rock right in here. This cluster of rocks, one of these rocks in here will be fine. There is where I will set up the gear, lay it out, and slowly but surely begin to put it on. There's a number of pieces of the gear that just need to be put on. Everything needs to be put on in the right order, so it's no small affair to put the gear on at this point here, hence the launch rock. It's almost like the landing strip for an airplane launch. I mean, it's where you set up the gear, inspect the gear, put it on, and then kick off the underwater rock climb from that location here at Pace's Mills. After that, just a side mention too, this entire area here, Pace's Mill, when I first started doing underwater rock climbing here, I started over here by the big rock. Actually, the big rock's over here, I think, yeah. By Big Rock. You can't see it because this view on Google Maps is a bit, the water's high, so. But going all throughout here, over across here, this whole kind of area here. And so it's just, there's a reason why I'm probably launching from this particular rock here. Once I start kicking the fins and moving on up the northerly path here up the Chattahoochee, I will work my way throughout this initial ridge here of rocks that provide some good hang points to grab onto, latch onto, hook onto with the mountain climbing hooks. I'll primarily use the hooks unless there's a need to actually grab the rocks with my gloved hands. The hooks are more efficient and provide a more secure grab. On this particular day today, I would be using a new wetsuit. It's a thicker wetsuit. It has the specifications of having 5/4 thickness, and for those who know about wetsuits will know what I'm talking about. And also gloves in the 5 category thickness. So these two items are being used for the first time today. They were added, they were additional purchased items for the upcoming cold weather. The other suit was fine, however, I'm realizing I'm probably going to need 2 of everything, just to kind of adds for the dry out aspects of cleaning your gear. I think it's probably best to have the gear from the day before to go ahead and just completely dry out before you jump right in it. This way allows the gear to properly dry out between usages. It's not needed, but if you're doing this every day on a daily basis, it just, to me, I'd like to have just the one set to completely dry out while, especially the boots and the gloves and whatnot. So that's why I'm kind of getting 2 sets of everything. But it's also good to have a backup, as I found out with the gloves that I recently turned in. The gloves are they broke a seal, and I had to turn them in, and I had to improvise some sort of gloving system to make it work while the gloves are being repaired and replaced, which they are, by the way. So after crawling along this ridge there, I then would move pretty much on this line here, approaching this next key point of interest here would be a tree trunks root system that's been here for several years. It hasn't gone anywhere, so that's why I'm kind of referring to it here, and you can see it in the map. It's a turned over tree that kind of leans over this way, and the roots pop up here, so it's kind of cool. And when you approach it from the south here, you'll run into its branches underwater, which is kind of cool too. And along the way, again, there were several fishermen out here today, just staggered kind of in a kind of equally spaced way all throughout the Paces Mill area. I mean, here, probably about 8 or so, spread out throughout the whole area. So one of the things that I wanted to be, conscientious of while I'm crawling out and getting to my main lane here was to kind of avoid not getting in their fishing lanes.
Well, the water conditions here at Paces Mill are really good. We're about halfway up. We're right by the stump. They're really good. I mean, the clarity's probably up there to 8 or 9. Current's low, so it's slow. And it's a good time to come over here and do the Paces Mill section because it's more of a straight run. There isn't a whole lot of waterfalls or any kind of technical climbing involved with this particular run from Paces Mill boat ramp all the way up to the bridge. Now, when you do get to the bridge, you got some shallows you can work there, and then you got some rough stuff over by the stump area there, by the little waterfall area. And there's some swells you can play with for a little while. Then you can coast back. Today it's relatively slow current, but as you can see, when it's slow, you can move over to the middle of the river, which is kind of neat because it's just a part of the river you can't really do on a normal day. So it's nice to see that and experience that part of the river because it's rare. The other thing that's good today is we're trying out the new 5mm suit by O'Neill, and it's working out just perfect. I didn't take the water temperature of the water, but whatever it is, I can't feel it at all. The suit is waterproof. I mean, there'll be some parts where the water gets in, but as soon as the water gets in, it adjusts to your body temperature, and then it just stays your temperature. So it's a really good suit. And I also have the gloves on, which are kind of a pain to work with in the colder weather because you don't have any dexterity. And I have an extra layer, a protective layer on top of them so I don't damage them. But they are working out supremely as well. I can't even feel whatever the water temperature is. This also goes down with the 6.5mm boots that I'm wearing. So I can't feel the water temperature. I don't think it's that cold today, but whatever it is, it's pretty insulated out of what I'm wearing here now today. So for the rest of the day here, I'm going to go ahead and make it up the rest here to the bridge. We've got a few fisher guys out here today. I'm trying to stay out of their way, and they're not seeming to be too bothered by it. When I get to the point of the bridge, I'm going to cut across, play in the shallows for a little bit, and check out over by the waterfall. But other than that, then we'll coast back and call it a day. Now, because of the daylight savings, it's actually an hour later than the time frame. So we're actually, if you're trying to get out here at a regular time, you're going to be an hour later than that. So that's the other good thing about coming to the Paces Mill today was that it's a later time, but because the sun goes straight down where the river, same angle as the river, you get that extended daylight as well. So it's a good place to go on the later part of the day if all the other factors such as water and clarity kick in. Let's wrap that up. Let's get on down to the end point here, see what we can do there, and then head on back.